Hello, this is Starlight. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and I'm reaching out to all of you beautiful souls out there. I hope you're able to get out in nature like Starlight is. And here I am. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? I'm out here at this park. You know, I've been out here for less than a week. Close to a week, though. We're really coming close to a week. And Starlight has really enjoyed her time out here. Sorry, I'm trying to reach my bell. And so tonight I really want to finish off on my part 2 video as far as my YouTube channel goes today. Hang on, I just gotta get situated here. Starlight's like doing a couple of things here at once. So anyway, I really hope you're getting out in nature somewhere and get some fresh air, climb some mountains. Starlight, you want to go mountain climbing? Starlight would love to go mountain climbing. I do want to go somewhere this weekend, some beautiful waterfalls that I found. Is like, wow, look at those waterfalls. So anyway, I'm excited. I really want to go to the waterfalls that I found online. A beautiful place to go. And anyway, if you are new to my YouTube channel, welcome, and you can find me on YouTube, and that is at Starlight, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman. And if you want to be that change, you can give this video a thumbs up. You know, it's better to be it than just to see it, because some people, they think that, you know, that the world owes them something and that they could just, you know, lay back and everything's just gonna fall on their lap, and that is absolutely not how this works one bit at all. There's no easy way to get through this, no matter what way you're gonna go, unless you're, you know, as long as you're doing it honestly. No matter how it is, it's a lot of work. And this is a video about, you know, a lot of work. And like I said in the other video, is some people don't like that 4-letter word. Besides that is, you can also leave a message down below, beep, beep, beep. And you can also, let me see, I got my bell. Don't forget the notification bell. That way you do not miss any videos. And you can also check out my playlist and share. Plus, you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you could follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So here we go. Today, like I said, I want to finish my part 2, and that is about if you don't do the work, it's going to hurt. And that is so true. Some people out in this world, and like I was trying to say yesterday, but I ran out of time as far as what I was saying, is, you know, it could have started when you were a kid. I do know that some kids, you know, when they were little, now I don't know how you were, so this is the time that we can kind of travel back in time, you know, when we were kids. Do you remember, you know, when you were a kid? Were you a kid that when your mom and dad said, clean your room, you know, you went and cleaned your room? How many of you did that? Did any of you just, you know, oh, yeah, my parents said to clean your room, and you just went in there and you went and did it? Or they said, oh, go take the garbage out, and you just, yes, Mom, I'm just going to go take the garbage out, or go rake the yard. Yes, Mom, yes, Dad, I'm going to go out and clean or did you give your parents a hard time? What was that? You gave your parents a hard time? Did you, you know, like in the beginning, you know, it was like, hey, I want to help out, and then you're like, now that I'm helping out, I don't think I like this anymore. I quit my job, I don't want to do dishes anymore. Or I quit my job, I don't want to peel potatoes anymore. Or you know, I thought it was fun in the beginning, but now I realize that it's not fun at all. I really don't want to do this anymore. So in the beginning, when we start off, is that you, sorry, Starlight's like all over here. When we start off, at first, everything's like, yeah, I want to learn how to, oops, sorry, I'm going to switch. I want to learn how to, you know, clean dishes. How many of you, by a raise of hands, wanted to learn how to clean dishes. It looked like fun, didn't it? I have a grandson. It's so cute. He's got his own little toy sink, and it's got a little faucet on it with a little drain thing on there, running water. I mean, he actually has running water out of his little sink, He is spoiled. He, capital S, spoiled, So he, cleans his own dishes and plays with the water and stuff. And at first, when we start off in life, it seems like a fun thing to do is to learn how to clean dishes, or like the boys when they get old enough to, like in their teen years to, hey, Dad, I wanna learn how to mow the grass. And then it's like, oh my, now I realize that mowing the grass actually kind of rhymes with it's a pain in my ass. So, and then, it's kind of funny because if parents actually, educate their kids in such a way when they're little about jobs, is, what I learned on my own, nobody taught me this, is I look at work depending on the kind of work, like raking leaves or shoveling the driveway of snow. Some of you don't even know what snow is. Do you guys know what snow is? Some of you do, some of you don't. But Starlight, where she grew up, when we got snow, we got snow. And we had a long driveway. So our whole family had to go out and start shoveling the snow off the driveway. So that was a lot of snow, is, for the whole family to go out, and it took hours for us to get that driveway, cleared out so we can actually drive out of, the driveway. So anyway, Starlight's going to go over here by the shady tree. So in the beginning, working seemed like a fun thing until we found out, now I know what work is. I really don't want to do the dishes anymore, or, so I used to play a little funny game with my mother. It was about peeling potatoes, and my mom was so patient with us, is that she was like, well, this is how you peel potatoes, and had a potato peeler. And she was teaching me how to peel potatoes, and I realized, hey, if I acted like I didn't know how to do it, I got my mom doing it all. It's like, I acted like I couldn't do it, and then before I knew it, my mother would just like start finishing, peeling potatoes because she thought I couldn't do it. But it worked. I got out of it for a little bit. But she was always determined to teach me again how to peel those potatoes, I only could fake it for so long. And then I realized, I guess I can't get out of this anymore. So some of the kids, like the way Starlight was, I complained a lot. I remember I complained a lot when I was a kid. Because we did. Our parents put us to work, work. I really thought we worked more than we played, because we had a lot of work. We were clearing out the land, and but that's not really the kind of work I want to talk about. But see, it starts with that kind of work, is that if you didn't like that kind of work when you were younger, or you never, your mom and dad did everything for you, which a lot of you had that, where mom and dad didn't want to hear you say, I don't want to do that, and they didn't want to discipline you. They just ended up like, they felt like it was easier just to do all the work themselves instead of hearing you complain or to fight over getting something done. So we all did something when we were younger. I really believe most of us had to give our parents a hard time when it was like, did you clean your room? How come your clothes are all over the floor? How about the bathroom? Did you just, leave everything there for mom and dad to pick up, and, just like, I'll just leave that there, see if they pick it up. And there's a lot of families out there, because Starlight knows this. I used to clean houses, and would you believe the parents were actually the ones that were cleaning the rooms? Or Starlight. They would pick up the stuff off the floor, But, you know, the beds were messy, and, you know, unless the mom made the bed, the kids were old enough to actually make the bed themselves. The kids were old enough to actually pick up the clothes themselves. But this is where we as parents actually have to teach our kids when they're little, right when they start out. Don't wait until they're 18. You know, you got to start out right when they're old enough, like my 2 or 3 years old. Start, you know, teaching your kids how to fold washcloths, you know, or little, you know, pants. Their little pants are easy to fold, and even a shirt, you know, they can learn how to do those, and they're so willing at that age that you got to get them right when they're little, is to, you know, get a little broom for them, get a little, you know, if you're gonna buy toys or whatever, get them their own little broom, you know, teach them how to use that little broom. You know, it will really help you out in the long run. But the other kind of work that I really want to focus on more is about, you know, the inner work that we got to do inside of us, is the kind of work I'm talking about now. Is, so some of you might have really gave your parents a hard time, and maybe they caved in and said, forget it, you know, it's more work for me to get my kids to do this work than for me to just do it myself. So I'm not even going to fight and argue with you anymore. I'm just going to do the work. But that wasn't the case with me. That was not the case with Starlight when she grew up, you know. If you wanted dinner later on, did you do what you're supposed to do, you know? And we could have been out there for hours doing the same job, you know, like doing yard work. You know how big the area was to do, and how big the garden was to do, and how much snow in the winter, and how much leaves, and, you know, we cleared out trails when I was a kid. You know, it was a lot of work. And you know, so I did do a lot of complaining about that, is like, oh man, you know, I even did the Indian rain dance, and it worked. You know, it got us out we didn't have to throw horse shit around anymore, you know, to grow some grass. So that Indian rain dance really did work. So anyway, don't mind me, I'm just kind of waiting for somebody to show up right now. So anyway, is, you know, if you were worse than Starlight, where maybe you got away with it, and you're like, I got out of it. I got them to do the work for me. I knew if I would be a pain in their ass, after a while, they would just take care of my stuff for me. They don't want to see it messy, and they'll just take care of all. My parents aren't going to beat me for it. They're going to let me get away with it, because you know, we do, when we're kids, we test our parents out, see what we can get away with. Just like adults, you know, with the rules and laws that we have out here. Starlight does that. You know, is to see what we can get away with. And so, you know, now you're an adult, and whatever your parents didn't teach you, you got to learn it on your own. Now it's all up to you. Do you think they were able to teach you everything? Especially if you were in public school, you know, so, and if they worked. So now you got to do the inner work. Now you got to face those demons and those shadow sides of you, the sides of you that you don't want people to see, or you know, you're embarrassed of, and all that stuff. So this is what this video is about, is the inner work, you know, is that we gotta let go of fear in our life, and we have to face our demons inside. We gotta be real with ourselves, and, you know, not to cover things up. And letting go of fear is really important out here, is to let go of fear and let love guide you, and not fear. So, and that didn't come from me, but that came from my old mentor. Not that he's old, he's very young, besides handsome. But, you know, is that we do gotta let go of fear in our life. And that's a lot in this world, is to, there's levels of fear that you gotta let go of. And we gotta learn how to discipline ourselves. Like, I'm learning this new thing is, hey, Starlight, if you wanna do that, Starlight? Well, you got to discipline yourself. There's times that we want to go do things, and, you know, maybe you could discipline yourself and say, hey, you know, I'm going to work on my goals first. You know, like I taught my son when he was younger, you want to play a video game? Well, you got to do your work first. Take out the garbage, have your room clean. Is there homework, you know, done? when all that is done, then you can play the video game, but there's a time limit. And I did the countdown with my son. Okay, you get 2 hours of video game, and then when it gets down to the last half hour time, I'm like, hey, son, you got a half hour left on that video game. That way, it's a better way of dealing with your kids with that kind of stuff, so that they're learning, okay, I got a half hour. Okay, now they're going to really work hard on that video game the last half hour. And all the way down to, okay, 5 minutes left. Ah. It's better than just saying, you got to get off the video game now. You know, it's a horrible moment for kids when it's like, now, you know, like, so you definitely, you know, you can learn how to discipline yourself, and it will teach you how to discipline your kids in a way that's not abusive. There's no reason why parents have to abuse their kids. But, you know, kids are going to test and try the parents, you know, that's just a normal thing. And the kids will teach you so much about yourself. You know, it's really, you know, that's why some people can't stand having their own kids, is because it really does. It really will show a lot about who they are. And, you know, sometimes we definitely will see ourselves and our children by their attitudes and behaviors, but a lot of times we might not want to admit what we see in our children is what we see in ourselves. So it is beautiful how God has everything set up as far as his creation and having kids and being married and all that stuff. Is God has got it down to, you know, I am amazed every day of God and God's creation and how he did not that God is a he, but I'm amazed of all of how God has put everything together. It's a beautiful thing. So you know, we do have to do that inner work in ourselves, you know, see our shadow, you know, in order, you know, maybe you got a habit of waking up too late in the morning time. Maybe you know, you could discipline yourself and say, hey, you know what, I need to wake up earlier, you know, I need to get up out of bed earlier, and that could be that you need to go to bed earlier, you know. So you need to make sure you get enough sleep. So, and the other thing is about disciplining yourself is to make sure, you know, you're being kind to yourself and not getting angry with yourself because you didn't do something the way you thought you should have done it or whatever. So make sure you're being kind to yourself all the time, you know, and because Starlight dealt with that for a long period of time, is being kind. You know, Starlight used to punish herself, you know, like, Starlight, I'm gonna, you know, imagine you're beating yourself up. You know, there's a lot of people that do that. They're very abusive to their own self, you know, and God doesn't want us to be that way. And, you know, so the inner work is a lot. You know I offend people on my videos because some people are not ready to face themselves. They get offended by a lot of things that Starlight says. That's why I made this video. And on part 1, I said this is not meant for everyone, because not everybody can handle the truth. You know, the truth is what is going to set you free, and you definitely have to face yourself, face the shadow aspect of yourself. And, you know, there's times that we might have, you know, sad to say, but like, we got to face our demons. You know, there might be things about you that you don't want to face. Some people have a jealousy spirit in them. They get very vicious and mean and rotten, you know, about, you know, maybe you're dating somebody that's jealous, and, you know, anytime you go out in public, say if it's a guy that's jealous, we'll just pick on the men right now, you got a jealous boyfriend. And so anytime the lady looks at another man, he thinks, oh, what are you trying to do, get set, you know? He need that man that's jealous like that, he needs a lot of attention. He needs to work on himself. He needs to, you know, like, work on the trusting, you know, because things has happened to him, why he is that way, why he's, you know, feeling that way about the one that he's going out with. So, or seeing, you might be, if you meet somebody and they're already acting jealous before you even really get in a relationship, you really might want to think twice. Is this really worth it? If they're really eyeballing everything that you do out in public and how you speak and how you respond to other males out in public view, you really might want to think twice about even going out with that person. That person really needs some good time alone. Time out, they need time out. And that was actually, when I used that word when my kids were younger, that was not a good sign. If I said, do you need time out? That's not a good, that's a code word for some people out there, is, do you need time out? Time out? No, I don't need any time out. So, so there's some people, they need some time out. And when I say that, I mean that they need to spend some time alone and get healed. I don't know why my lighting on this, maybe if I go in a different direction. It's just that the sun is changing in this area. So anyway, is going out in nature is a great place to, spend some time alone. And, our kids can teach us a lot of things about ourselves, and where we can work on those shadow aspects of ourselves, or those demons. You might also even have a lady that's jealous, and every time, like, if you're with a lady that's jealous and you're an outgoing, friendly guy and you like to say hi to everyone, it doesn't mean just because a guy says hi to a pretty lady or even a couple, it doesn't mean that that man is after another chick. Same with a lady. Just because she's an outward, friendly type of female and she's dating a guy or even married to a guy, is doesn't mean that she's after every Tom, Dick, and Larry guy. I had to say that word Dick in there, but it's just that those people, they've been hurt and they need time to heal. They're not really ready for a relationship. They need to learn to, trust is a big part of any relationship. If you don't have that in the first place, like, how can you even have any kind of relationship? And it really has a lot to do with you, as a person. So there's so many different things that we all need to work on. I might have a weak area that might be your strength, so you got to find out what you need to work on and what is a weak area. And if you know something, some people got a temper, they got a temper, things don't, and that has a lot to do when they were kids. Where did that temper come from? So some parents don't respond the right way when their kids are little, and they might respond the wrong way with their children. And some parents actually make their kids more angry because they don't know how to correct that problem when they were kids. So if a child gets really, they could have started off that way. They get really upset, and it could be, how old? 4 years old, and they're, they're really getting upset when they don't get their way. That you gotta, because sometimes what happens with young parents when they start off, wow, I'm actually on a line of ants. I didn't even realize they're all going back and forth in this little spot here. But like with fresh parents that never had any kids, it's their first child, is the first child normally gets spoiled rotten. They give them whatever they want, and then they don't teach them that you can't have this, for no reason. Like, the child might want something, but if you're always giving your child every single thing it wants, I've heard a lot of grandmas that says, I'm gonna spoil my grandkids rotten. Please don't do that to your kids. You like I said, please don't do that to your kids. Sometimes the grandparents, that's what they want to do. They want to spoil their grandkids rotten, but you're gonna really make it hard on your own kids, because now that especially if you're spending a lot of time with the grandkids, is that you're gonna spoil them rotten, and then you're gonna go your merry way. And now you can make that child like a demon, because now that child's like, hey, grandma, I always get everything I want from grandma, always lets me get away with shit, and then when you drop the kids back off to mommy and daddy, and it's now the kids don't want to obey, and the kids are blatting over everything because grandma and grandpa are spoiling the kids rotten. No, grandma, grandpa, please, do the right things with your grandkids, don't spoil them rotten. Teach them, teach them the right things, There's times that you can spoil them and give them something, and then there's other times that they don't need it, even though they see, because they're going to learn, hey, every time I'm with grandma gives me everything I want, and it's going to be a huge problem. It's going to cause your own kids to have a war with their own daughter or their own son or their kids. So you don't want to, make all hell. You could go there and, hey, I'm just going to spoil them rotten and I'm going to go home, and now these kids are not the same like they were. The parents could be doing a great job by having balance with the kid, but then if grandpa and grandma are going to go in there and spoil the child rotten, you could really mess everything up that mommy and daddy are really trying to do. So please, if you're a grandma and a grandpa, you might think, hey, I'm a grandpa, I'm a grandma, I can do whatever I want. You're right, you can. But how do you want them to turn out later? That's a sad thing if you're going to spoil them rotten and give them whatever they want, and, never say no to them, because then that's not being the right kind of grandpa and grandma that they really should, that they really need. We need grandmas and grandpas to, be the right kind of example to their kids. And, just because you didn't have those things to give to your kids when they were little, it doesn't mean that you have to do it all now with your grandkids. Be wise on how you handle your grandchildren, especially if you're spending a lot of quality time. I do know people right now, in my life, in my circles, that are spoiling their grandson, and it's not good, because now the child is struggling, and it could bring the worst out in the kid. And now mommy and daddy are stuck with that son, and your grandson. And you really want to, have balance with your kids, with your kids or your grandkids. Teach them the negatives and the positive. Yes, today you can have that. Purposely bring them somewhere, and, where they, oh, I want that, grandma. Hey, grandma, because if they think every time you take them somewhere, that every time you buy them something, and every time you go somewhere, they're going to say, hey, you know what? I just can act like a little angel in front of grandma and grandpa, and they're just going to give me what I want. But no, they got to be taught, no. That's how you're going to help them as, when they get older, and mature in their age, is to teach them, and you don't always have to be the good guy. You have to, be the right kind of grandpa and grandma out there to, say grandma's a lot of fun and grandpa's a lot of fun, but we also have this other side that your grandkids ought to need to see, is that they need to see that other part of you that says, you know what, when you disobeyed, they need to know that grandpa and grandma is not going to let them get away with stuff. They need to know that, hey, when I'm at grandpa's and grandma's house, I heard this on the radio not too long ago, and it hurt my ears to hear it, how what the grandparents were doing with their kids, their grandkids, is, spoiling them rotten, giving them whatever they want, and they totally don't do the rules what they did when they had their kids. Now they're just like, we're just going to do everything what we want to do. And so I'm sorry, I'm just waiting for somebody. So anyway, I'm going to end this video now, and because I am waiting for somebody to show up at this park. And I hope that, you get a lot of help from this video. And, just to remember, just like with your kids and your grandkids, is that we have things that we got to deal with, and we got to do that inner work to be any change. That's how you got to be that change in the world, is dealing with, the things that we got going on in us. So I could go on and on as far as what to deal, you know, the inside work, but because I'm waiting for somebody to show up here, and I am just kind of squeezing this video in today. And anyway, it's 30 minutes long anyway, so I did pretty good in this time frame. I really hope that you understand the kind of work that you got to do, and it's an all-time thing, every day, all the time. We always got to constantly work on ourselves, and that is what it's going to take to be that change out in the world that we want to see, is to always work, be consistent. You know, just because you weren't like today and yesterday, sometimes you're going to have days things are not going to go out the way you were hoping. Don't beat yourself up. You know, say, okay, there's nothing that you can do about it, right? Just like the past, there's nothing that you can do about what happened in the past except for to learn from it. Anyway, I do love you. This is Starlight. You can give this video a thumbs up. That is, if you want to be that change that you want to see in the world. Also, you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, and you could leave a message down below. Beep, beep, beep. Plus, let me see, I do have my little dinger bell. Here's the little dinger bell. You know, don't forget the notification bell. And you could share my videos. Plus, don't forget my playlist. And you can follow me on Instagram at 1995 Starlight, or on Facebook, and that is Kathy with a K, Dingman Starlight. So anyway, I do love you. This is Starlight. This is Starlight, love, light, and peace.